the stiff truth. No, it's not at all. In fact, and it's about half and half. It's kind of just appley flavored champagne.
Interesting. It's very
but
interesting.
I went with a Prosecco Rosé.
Oh, okay.
So not exactly champagne, but it is some bubbly.
We're all over the place then today.
It is a product of Italy. Yeah, there's no consistency here.
The interpretation just went wild.
There's no professionalism here.
I was like, I got like sour tart green apple cider with Cristalino, which is bottom shelf champagne. Only the best over here. $6.68 a bottle.
And honestly, it looks like I just threw some ice in my Red Dog.
Yeah, I know. And this one looks like an unhealthy urine sample. It's cloudy.
Well, speaking of needing to drink more water, I'm Bob West. Welcome to the Stiff Truth. I am here with Scott Casanova. We are plenty hydrated with clean urine streams. And I'm happy you could be here. Scott, your Redskins beat the mighty Tampa Bay Bucks today. How you feeling?
You know what? I don't want to even say I told you so, because it doesn't make sense, because I was joking around yesterday when I was like, yeah, the Skins are just gonna fucking hand it to the Bucks tomorrow. And then you were like, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool because it's more of like a little dream, a thing that doesn't usually happen. But we did. We had a great game. And did you get to see the game? Because I think they actually stopped showing the Cowboys game because they ran away with it so bad so early that they're like, let's put a game on that people actually want to watch because it's still competitive.
Oh, the Cowboys game I think just ended early. Because they did kneel it down and run the clock out and everything on the Cowboys game.
That was a murderous game right there, buddy.
Oof, what a trashing. Watching like a high school football game, in the NFL was nice.
But did you get to see the Washington game?
I only saw the highlights from the Skins game, but what highlights they were, because I was following the game like through the Cowboy game, and I was just like, the Skins are up like 10-0, I think it was at the time, and then it was like 13-3, and I was just like, look at this. The Skins are like clamping down on these guys and controlling. Until today was the most highest potent scoring offense in the league.
Very true. And their defense apparently some of the strongest against the run, and Antonio Gibson got 2 touchdowns for himself. Now, of course, in our family league for fantasy, he was on my bench, of course, right? Because he had like 22 points.
That's why he did so well.
Exactly. He's been sucking it up. Like, if there's even been like controversy and like, who to start, JD McKissick or him. And I'm like, oh man, there's just, there's no front runner here for the Skins at RB, but today, yeah, he definitely did it. But Heineke, my whole point of this is Heineke looked really fucking good out there, bro. Really, really good. Again, I don't know what happened the past, like, let's just call it like 3 or 4 games. We've been kind of horrible, but we really put it together at the right time. And you know what? Now we're a glorious 3-6. Sky's the limit, bro.
Hey, I just got to say, I mean, you pop off a few wins in the next 3 or 4 games, and you're right there at 500, and anything can happen down the stretch. This is an 18-week season. Keep in mind.
Yeah, no, I thought about that again today. Not only did I say, we've done this before, we can make a run here. We can go 11-6, right? With the extra week added on.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you want out, yeah, sure.
If we want out, and I think that would, the way the NFC is and just football in general, I think that would put us in a position where. But again, as you know, I'm being blindly optimistic, and there's no reason to be, but that's how I am with my team. But yeah, great day in football. But by the way, too, I have to say, I know it was a quick in and out, but it was fantastic to see you and the family on yesterday, obviously, and Friday evening. Very fun stuff.
Absolutely. For those that don't know, I went and picked Scott up at the Albuquerque International Sunport there. Real quick in and out. He had to come retrieve some hardware. And so he stayed the night, and we got back home around 9 and did some power drinking. And he was gone the next day, but did lunch, and you were out. It was a pretty awesome trip. How was the recital today?
It was good. It was good. I was right before we got started today. Elizabeth did one song. Got a great standing ovation for me, which was interesting because I was already standing in the back. So put that together. But yeah, I will tell you, thinking about Friday night, we did, and I'm both proud of us and a little sad. We put away a decent amount of booze and like, what do you want to say? Like 2-3 hours, something like that, I think. Goodness. Yeah. You know what? I'm not even sure, but all I remember is you got that great 7-year, right? And I'm gonna say it's great, that 7-year whiskey, that bourbon from Costco. That was good. That was tasty.
It was the 7-year. Went down good. Caused less of a hangover the next day, so that's good. It's funny how the more you spend on booze, that tends to happen. But,
always thought that was interesting. Yeah, I noticed that the days of like bottom shelf Smith's brand vodka, and those day after, oof, no more.
Yeah. We don't need any like Wolf Schmitz up in the house.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was super fun. I heard you actually got a little bit of quality time in last night on the old PlayStation. So I'm glad you got to check it out and put it to work. So
yeah, and I don't think we even told anybody here on the show, but the reason why I went down there, I had to pick up some precious merchandise there. A mutual friend of ours, Dave, went ahead and got the hook on a lovely PS5, no markup, retail, and that was the whole point of this, right? So, of course, that's why I would fly down and get it, because if anybody knows right now, you're not sending a PS5 through the mail. You're just not doing it. I mean, they could get lost or stolen and you're asked out. I mean, you can't even get your money back if you get it insured. So
well, you gotta, honestly, sorry to interrupt, but you can't even find one.
Right.
In general.
Exactly. So if you lose the one that you got, that you got miraculously through a friend, you don't want to put yourself in that situation. I'm a betting man, and I wouldn't put myself in, okay, I'll just find another one. Not going to happen in the near future. But dude, yes, I'll tell you what, playing the COD, all I'm going to say with how it runs, just the gameplay, smooth, slippity slide compared to the PS4. That's all I got to say. Things are dialed the fuck in.
I'm sure things are really fast. Like when you turn it on or restart it, it's fast. When you load up a game, it's fast. I'm sure of it.
Well, I put it on last night thinking, right, used to the PlayStation Network taking a shitload of time to do anything when it downloads stuff. I was like, okay, fired it up, did like a little, just a little setting shit or whatnot. And it's like, hey, it even asks you, would you like to download one of your games while you finish your setup? You're like, absolutely, Call of Duty. And then it started, like 2%, like 3% by the time I was done. So it's like, okay, I'm going to watch a show with the family. I'm going to check back. It's probably going to be at like 40%, whatever. We watched like a 50-minute show, turn it back on. It was done, ready to go. I was
nice.
Like, oh, here we go. Let's get on and do it. We missed you last night, but I guess every now and again you gotta do something else. You know what I mean?
I was just tired yesterday, and Dave even called and he's like, I'm gonna probably get on a little bit, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna. I'm just tired. So I watched some morning show, and got nice and caught up there, and went to bed.
I got to be a few weeks behind right now, man. Come to think of it, I forgot that was still going. Huh.
Love the show. The show. You're going to be very surprised at the loss of one of the cast members coming up in an episode.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, hey, no spoilers, everybody. I need to figure this out on my own, but
now that is the tease. Teasing someone else's show. That's fantastic.
I'm sure they appreciate it. I'll tell you what, man. Just to get right into it here. The whole incident here at the Astroworld, I guess, festival or what have you, during the Travis Scott concert. I don't know if you've seen it recently in the past few days, but you can tell his team, his PR team and everything, they're playing cleanup right now.
Oh, they're on it. Oh, yeah.
They're all over the place. They're making apologies for him.
They've been paying for like every single funeral.
Yeah. Paying for
minimize the asking price of the lawsuits, I'm sure.
And one of the things that was mentioned in one of the articles was like, well, that's got to be a given. Like, you shouldn't even, it's like so weird and morbid. Like, because they're like, you know what, hey, we're going to pay for the funerals. Oh, and by the way, we're going to refund your tickets too. I'm like, dude, it's like, for some reason that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, hey man, your family member died or whatever, but I'll make sure that the ticket of your dead brother is refunded. I'm going to take care of you. I was like, I was like, that's a fucking given, man. But the one thing that struck me, because like when I was talking to you about this the other day, I was like, I want to do a little bit more digging on this and see if really I should be pointing the blame at one or more parties, or like maybe it's a whole concert of people that I just need to really understand the whole process and how this could happen. And then one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to disprove myself into just blaming it on Travis Scott. Like, oh, this guy could have prevented this. You know what I mean? He was there. He saw it. He's the orchestrator of the whole thing. People are going to listen to him. He should have spoke up. And then I watched what I was telling you earlier. I watched his apology video that he put up on his Instagram story a couple days ago, right? And one thing that struck me, besides his very strange mannerisms and body language, the entire time it's like a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes. The entire time he's like rubbing his head like this and like, you know, acting. He looks like somebody that just woke up and he's like talking to somebody on the phone about what he's doing for the day, but he was partied out or something. You know, he's just like, he looks completely out of it. He didn't take his like hand away from like rubbing his head the entire time. And the really interesting to me is there was like cuts to other parts. They had to edit his apology video. That to me was the troubling thing. There was about 3 or 4 like different cuts, but it was still him in the same, you know, area still talking. But I don't know, dude. Like I was reading some shit too about it being like one of the worst apologies ever and this and that, disingenuous. People like kind of critiquing it, rip it up. But more than anything, it wasn't really that when I watched it. It was mainly just how there was a need to edit the video. Like he would start saying something. They're like, yeah, cut it here. This is stupid. It doesn't make sense. Let's mash it up and cut it up and put this together. Now that's a decent apology. Very, very strange stuff. So if you get the opportunity, Bob, check that out. But there's a lot more to this, but I just want to stop right there and get your overall thoughts here, because initially I just want to kind of figure out, you know, where's the weak leak here? Where could this have been corrected? And so far it's still a little bit murky.
So Travis Scott has a history of over amping up his crowds already. That's kind of his style. He tries to get it rowdy, but at a venue when there's 50,000 people, that's a little bit different. And even if you're holding this at a stadium, but then, you know, there's 100,000 people, but, you know, 80,000 of them are in the stands and don't have access down there. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a little bit different than, I believe this was in the parking lot at Energy Stadium. Is that right?
I believe so. And it's just to take it one step further, what you had said, his fans are known as ragers, and they're supposed to, when they're at the show, when he's playing, they're supposed to be in a constant state of motion. Basically, you're in this, like we're in this, we're doing this right now. And there's no like bystanders or just spectators to one of his shows. So that's the kind of mindset too. I wanted to kind of highlight that with what you said.
Yeah. And on that point, it's very strange that they're such rowdy fans. I mean, we talked about the most unsuspecting concerts a couple shows ago about you never know the crowds that you're going to get at the type of concert you're going to get, because the most unsuspecting concerts will be the craziest concert you've ever been to.
Yeah.
And I don't think Travis Scott's any exception to that. I never expected that a bunch of like dudes in their 20s and 30s would be like rushing the stage like a Beatles mania fan, trying to run up there. Like, because nothing makes me rage like I get goosebumps every time. Come around, yeah, it's fine, yeah. I don't get it. That gets me amped up when I hear some like mumble rapping like that. Like, I want to go punch someone right in the face. Well, usually the artist, but
well, and here's the other thing. I agree with you 100%. One thing I learned is Travis Scott has always had a strong liking for WWE and professional wrestling. And that's one of the elements that he wanted to bring to his shows is, again, kind of this getting people riled up and shit and getting them to do kind of crazy, just energetic things at his show. So
he's doing some shit like this.
Yeah. What is that song? That's like what is that? Something about being American or whatever that Hulk Hogan used to do that song. I can't remember it. Yes, exactly, bro. But so again, you know, interesting style of music to have people moshing, but there was, as I was reading it from like eyewitness accounts, there was like professional like shit starters in the crowd that had fucking whistles around their neck that occasionally would blow their whistle and be like, hey, let's light it up right here or whatever to start pits at a mumble rap show, Bob. So
it's very strange, man.
I don't understand it, but I don't want to discredit like that's the way it was. But the biggest thing to me, there's a couple things. We talked about this the other day. he could have, and we've seen montage upon montage of just other heavy metal and rock and roll musicians stopping shows, like dead stopping shows. All the music's over, getting people's attention, having people that are in production turn the spotlights on people to quit fucking around or like to help people up and this and that. I understand again from his lawyer's defense and all these other people, he's got all these lights in his face. He didn't really know what was going on. It's super, super fucking loud, all that kind of shit.
There's something to that.
There's definitely something to that, but there's honestly probably something. I think Dave Grohl or some other people or whatever had the same kind of external forces keeping him from like seeing everything, but yet he would still stop shows completely and like point out people and like help them out. So there's definitely an element of that. There's maybe an element that he doesn't give a fuck when they get super rowdy and he's not really looking for anything. And that's probably innocent. You know what I mean? Like, hey, yeah, people are fucking going nuts. This is fucking badass. Like I'm sure there's a lot of metal musicians, like a Hatebreed concert, when they see a mosh pit, they are up there like telling people to start the mosh pits and get nuts too. But the biggest thing to me that I read about, this was like an all-day festival, right? And by noon, and the festival only had been going on, I think it's like 10 or 11. By noon, the merchandise area needed to be shut down and closed because it was getting too rowdy. So already at noon, this didn't happen until like 5, 6, 7 o'clock. I don't know. Something, it was like way later in the day. So that to me, and just kind of led me to go ahead down the train of thought. Okay, the people that were there, the security team and the producer of the concert, that's kind of where it starts, the responsibility to do something or like bring in more people like security or whatever kind of resides on them. But what do you do? What do you do, Bob, in the middle of a concert like festival that starts getting rowdy? You can only up your ante with trying to keep things calm, but mob rules, you know what I mean, to a certain extent. So
I've got a couple of things to that. I do know that as an artist, as anyone that's been up on a stage with lights, it is hard to see everything that's going on, especially if you're focusing on what you're doing and you're really trying to put on a good show or whatever, and you have the lights. I could understand that to some extent. So you can't 100% say that an artist has the vantage point from up there and can see everything and should be able to like look at everything and point it all out, because those lights are fucking bright. Shit's going on. I get that, but they're not going to miss everything also. Right. So and another part of that is most artists are good steward of crowd control. Most are mindful of it. They don't want to see their fans get hurt. They live for their fans, and that's why they have the lifestyle that they have, and they respect that. I don't think Travis Scott does it all. I don't think he really, like you said, I don't think he looks for it. I don't think he cares. In fact, they were doing CPR. This is after the music had stopped. They were doing the CPR, and he's up there in like some weird pose, like humming some like while they're like trying to resuscitate someone. Just some weird shit. So I can tell you this. I don't listen to Travis Scott ever, but in case he does come on, I did go to my Spotify and purposefully blocked the artist.
Wow.
Because I'm definitely not going to support him in any way, because, that's just some douchebaggery, and I'm not down for that. So it's not going to hurt his bottom line, but he's the only artist I've ever blocked. I'll listen to shitty artists before I listen to Travis Scott, which, in itself is not necessarily very far from that category to begin with. But having said that, there's so many artists that'll stop a show. And like you said, the montages, we've seen it all week because TikTok's been kind of blowing up, right? I saw Post Malone actually stop the show, get down in the crowd because the security guys and the paramedics are having a hard time finding the actual person he was pointing to. Yeah. So he like got down and like moved people out of the way and guided them to the person that needed help. I've seen Linkin Park like famously stop the show and said, guys, we need to help this person. I don't care. We'll start the whole show over.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just make sure that no one gets hurt. And then they actually started the chant of the crowd. What is something like when they fall down, we pick them up or whatever. So there's plenty of instances where artists are mindful of that and they do care. And I think that's all we're asking for from an artist, is to be mindful of that and care. You're not going to stop everything. You're not going to be perfect. It's not going to go perfect. Shit happens. But what we do ask from an artist is that you do try to have some control over your crowd, and you don't try to go Fred Durst in '99 and incite a riot.
God
So
damn it. That
I
son of a
would.
bitch.
They haven't rolled out criminal charges for that exact thing,
Yeah.
inciting a riot. Travis Scott and Drake both are actually looking at that, but I think it's going to be much harder to prove Drake. And I think Drake being there, I think that's the spark that kind of lit the flame on that one, because Drake is like Beatlemania status. Like, people love fucking Drake. And so I know when he got there, the surge started going crazy. Right.
Mhm.
And it didn't get worse until he had actually left, I believe. And still, it just kind of added to the fire. On the other side of the artist's responsibility, I think what this concert is going to change the way that things are done in the future. And I talked to that briefly about that on the phone with you. Excuse me. This was put on by Live Nation, and they actually had like 700 security guards there, hired by Live Nation. I think that Live Nation is going to start controlling things more. So instead of the artists, they'll probably start having people looking out and being ready to pull the plug themselves on their own artist. Just like, sorry guys, we don't like class action suits.
It makes sense, because literally, and I'm thinking about this from so many different ways, because again, it sucks, especially if you put yourself in this situation. If you were a parent of a teenager that was there and their lives were taken by this nonsense, that's something that was supposed to be a fun get together, you know what I mean, a fun experience. I kind of put myself in that situation and say, like, where do I go here? Where do I go with my anger and my frustration? Where's my outlet here that makes sense? And it's one of those things where it's definitely a combination of them, you know, because it goes all the way down to, if security took it more seriously, you know, because I heard few eyewitness accounts when I was reading through stuff that they were yelling for help from the security. But like most security guards at the concert, they can't hear a fucking thing people are yelling, you know, because they're right behind the fucking speakers, and their job is just to kind of stay posted up and make sure nothing blatantly is happening like right in front of them. So you can't expect them to leave their post or something like that and like start being like ridiculous, like, you know, movie style fucking heroes or something like that with everything. But I will say this too. The vibe you put out as an artist is kind of the vibe that you have in the crowd. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say universally, but if you're putting out like a nasty vibe of like chaos and distrust and just going nuts or whatever, you're gonna see that element. I mean, it's easier for the artist to dictate the kind of crowd he's going to have, like for music versus anything else, if you ask me. So that's the other thing, man. I think there's a lot of things that he did not do, or stuff that he did do with just how he continually got people fired up, that definitely contributed to this. But it is interesting. I would have to say, from seeing what I saw and what I've heard so far, if he would have just stopped short, like right as people started getting uppity or whatever in the crowd about shit going on, I think this is like somebody gets hurt, somebody gets accidentally killed, but not a total of 9 people now. You know what I mean? I think that's where it could have gone if he would have done what we saw from so many other artists, you know, once they realize things are out of hand, they've lost control in my crowd, because it's their show. They should take ownership over that too. You know what I mean? And I think that's the bigger difference there, dude, is he saw that chaos, like we've said a few times here. He saw the chaos and just probably as a positive to his show, when he should have just been a little bit more grounded and reality driven there, and realized it was probably some people that were getting hurt. That's
well, and honestly, he had the opportunity right before he started doing anything to walk out there and be like, hey, I understand and appreciate and love that you guys are so pumped up and ready, but hey, I need everyone to take a few steps back. We can't have each other getting hurt. We have to look out for each other, and gave it a little, you know, monologue to set the tone before he started getting rowdy. Because you knew once he got out there, he knew they were already fucking apeshit, right?
Yeah.
And any normal person would. But going forward, does a person like Travis Scott, is he cognizant of that, or is there like some sort of narcissistic block there that'll never like sink in? Or going forward, will he like be uber careful about shit and try to control the crowd, or will he wear that as a badge of honor? You know what I mean? My crowd, fucking 8 people died last time because I'm so rowdy.
Because I'm so G. You know what I mean?
Because I could see that happen too.
I can definitely see that happen. I can see both happen, right? And the reason, and this is a definitely assumption here, but I think the big reason he didn't come out and say, "Hey, everybody, we need to kumbaya this shit. We need to step back and do this," because that would be a contradiction to his image that he wants on stage, right? He wants to come out and get everybody fired up and get fucking nuts and crazy. So why would he come out and tell everybody to settle down? But when he just starts, that's the wrong rollout for him. So I think selfishly, even if he thought things were getting too rowdy, he's like, nah, this is my shit. And I need to come out like a badass and, and get people even rowdier. So I think that's kind of what happened there. Unfortunately, here's the other thing, though, Bob, just to kind of make a little bit of light of this stuff, because there's nothing funny about what happened there. But I've never trusted a guy with two first names. That is a big, big no-no. Time and time again, I get a constant reminder. Every person I've ever known that has two first names as their full Christian name is a little bit dicey of a person. I'm just going to say that right now. Lack of character if you have two first names. Travis Scott. That's a red flag right there, Bob.
Well, I mean, and if he had like another first person middle name there, he'd be a serial killer.
It's like
right?
it's like
Travis William Scott. Oh God, who'd he kill? Right. But and another thing about the thing I just said about like, is there some sort of narcissistic block there? There might be. I thought he was younger, but I just looked up. He's 30 years old.
Oh,
like,
okay.
He's like full like grown man status. He just acts like a child. So and comprehends and understands things like a child.
Well,
so
I don't want to be a dick, but I have to say it though. When I watched his apology, the way he speaks, and maybe he just has a unique fucking vocabulary or whatever it is, he doesn't sound like the smartest tool in the shed either, dude. He just really sounds he's very unarticulate. I'll give you that. And I was like, all right, but his apology video, if you guys have seen that out there, it's pretty strange. It seems you know what it sounds like, Bob, with him like rubbing his head and looking like he's tired, dude. It seems like it's something he doesn't even want to do. He's just got to get through it. Yeah, like his
PR.
Yeah, like his entire PR team is like, dude, you need to like come out against this. As of right now, you're kind of being demonized from the press, rightfully so to a certain extent, but unrightfully so when the press gets a hold of things. You know what I mean? So you got to get out there and play crowd control, buddy. Like, no pun intended. You got to like really like public image wise, you need to act like you give a fuck. And it kind of seemed like he's like, dude, like, let's just get this done then. I don't need whatever, bro. I'm really sorry about the families. I've been working with, if you know anything, talk to your local law enforcement. I'm like, what do you mean if you know anything? What is that gonna, I don't even know, man.
Honestly, the only reason I even like knew Travis Scott like as Travis Scott is because he's like Kylie Jenner's baby daddy. It's like the only reason that he was like relevant to begin with. I don't think the Goosebumps song really like fits in my playlist very much. So I don't know. I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame that something's wrong with this younger generation, man. Something's just wrong. These Zers, man, there's just something wrong with them. I love you, kid, my son. He's a Zer, but man. And I know every generation looks at us because it was the boomers that said the same thing about Gen Xers, and it was Gen Xers that said the same thing about millennials. But now here I am, either a Gen X or an elder millennial here, and I look at this years like something's wrong with you kids. Like, yeah, I just don't get it. And the thing about it is, there's so many smart executive leadership type people, account managers, people that are coordinators and PR people, and they manage this talent to this level, and they control everything because he's not a wedding planner. He ain't planning any of this. He's just showing up and he's doing his thing and he's going home. And what happened and transpired there, I think, is a lot more on his team and Live Nation and the label that he works under and his business manager and all those people trying to guide this immature fucking probably undereducated talent through all of these shows and not wrangling him in and setting the putting the restraints on his behavior and setting that expectation for him. I think there's a lot of blame to be going around here. They let this guy run amok. They want him to stir up as much shit, get as many headlines as they can so that he can get as many stream revenues and album sales as he possibly get, as many ticket sales, and they want to increase the revenue But now a hard look's going to be like about, all right, how do we actually manage talent and who's responsible when they fuck up?
Yeah, that is a great point. And I think you're spot on that there's a lot of people that share responsibility here. And I think on a whole, it's the responsibility of inaction. You know what I mean? I think there
Right.
was a lot of people that were just fucking hanging out, just being lazy at what they should be doing. I think it I think it definitely starts with Travis Scott in the sense that if he was a very high character person or whatever that just really gave a fuck about humanity, he would have just like done something to try to put the kibosh on it right out of the gate. But then, like you had mentioned, you can't rely on one single 30-year-old guy that's fell ass backwards into fame because he fucked a Kardashian. You know what I mean? Like seriously, you know what I mean? And he likes to mumble. Yeah, no, you can't really put it all on that kid. It's definitely, it's a domino effect with everybody else. And that's what I think it is. It's a lot of people that didn't do anything. And now, like you said, what's going to happen, fortunate or unfortunate, you can look at it both ways, is going to change festival concert going moving forward. And that could be kind of shitty if you're a responsible concert goer, or it's just kind of where we're at now since, apparently we all have to have our hands held through stuff.
Well, and not much unlike the Jason Aldean concert at the Mandalay Bay changed how security operates now at large events, right? I think that this concert is going to change perhaps even governance. Like, when is a state or a city going to step in and be like, hey, you've had this many incidents. You're not allowed to play at any venues in our county, or you're not allowed to play at any venues in the state anymore because I don't want them suing the state for us letting you play here and someone getting hurt because you're an idiot. You know what I mean? So when does that start happening? Because it's a matter of time. All it takes is for a class action suit to target one of these potential governing entities as the target, and then that's when shit'll change because they don't want to hurt their bottom line, especially if it's a government, city or state. Then they'll do it quick because they're not going to fuck with their tax dollars like that. So, it's always about the money. And when does it hurt with the money, and how is it going to change? Because I hate to say it, but the loss of life is terrible, but it's not going to matter to anyone that's actually doing these things until it hurts the loss of revenue.
Yep. Yeah. That's very unfortunate, but it's just the nature of the beast. Collateral damage up to the point when it hurts their pocketbook, honestly. You know what I mean? Oh, that's a shame. And that's really kind of the unfortunate thing too, at the end of the day too, is no action is taken really where there's going to be a change in things unless it's hurting the revenue stream. Well, that's kind of the way it is, Bob. But I mean, turning the page a little bit here to something nice. How's your apple cider mimosa?
So these are fantastic. I like these so much better than regular mimosas because I have the acid reflux and I always have to try to figure out controlling my acid levels. So orange juice always kills me.
Oh yeah,
but
that's a bad one.
But apple juice and champagne, oh, that's kind of money right there. So I'm really liking this idea. It's unfortunate that this is a fall drink. This should just be how it's done.
Hey, you know what? Like I said too, I don't know if every place is out of apple cider because it's only a couple of weeks away from Thanksgiving. I don't know what's going on, but real pain in the ass, folks. I don't know if we even mentioned it when we were starting the show or not, or if that was just like when we were getting ready or what have you.
We didn't. We glazed right over it and just kept drinking.
If anybody knows the difference between apple cider and apple juice, try to go to the grocery store and get apple cider and see what happens, because it's a little tougher than you think. That's all I'm going to say.
You're much stronger willed than me because I just got apple juice because they were all out of apple cider and I wasn't going to go to like a second store for this. So it's just like, that's it. It's apple juice then. I'm half-assing this one.
That's okay. I went to a couple of stores here, but I'm not even sure I still got the right thing because I have like some sweet and tart apple cider. So it's kind of like sour at the end of the day. I'm not sure, but it tastes good with my cheap champagne. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all about the cheap champagne. Adding apple juice to your champagne is like adding sour mix to bottom shelf or well whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to get it done.
Did you get a chance to potentially man yours up? Let's see what I got right here.
I didn't.
That's okay. That's okay.
I know. I'm a failure.
I'm looking. Hold on. Let me just double check the notes. Yeah, no, it says apple cider mimosas, meaning including a
I've
shot of
got
vodka.
vodka right out there. If you want to keep talking for a second, I'll go get some. It'll be seamless.
All right, go ahead. You go ahead. We'll take off. We'll talk about your pre-drink ritual that I saw on Friday. Bob was just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Everything's fine. When I went over to Bob's on Friday, it was pretty sweet because he had just mentioned that he has a little bit of the problem with the acid reflux, the GERD as they call it. And when I went over to his house on Friday, first thing he did when we started drinking is I believe he took a shot of whiskey and chased it with a little bit of Coke Zero, and then he popped like 3 or 4 Tums in his mouth. And I was like, there you go, getting ready for it. I was like, yeah, that's how we're going to start it. So I think it works out pretty well to do that prior to getting too shitty, especially if you have the acid reflux. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Bobby, how you doing?
That's 3 Tums, not 2.
I said 3. I said 3 or 4, and I'm glad I saw that. That's how you do it, bud.
Well, so I'd already kind of had a couple of instances earlier where I was just like, I think I kind of have heartburn today.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I was just like, I want to start shooting whiskey. Nope. Let's just tackle this right away. There's no reason to wake up tomorrow hating life.
No. You don't
I
want to do that.
I got your favorite little shot glass.
I love those. They look like little keg, like kegger kind type cups, dude. You know what I mean? Great stuff.
So I'm just gonna throw me a little shot in here. Look, I just want you to see that I'm manning this right on up.
I'll do the same. Ready? Cheers. And now we can legitimately have ourselves an apple cider mimosa. Cheers to you.
Apple juice mimosa.
You're whatever.
That's great. I don't even taste the vodka. That's dangerous.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and set that down over there. Move on with my life.
This could go south real quick.
Well, I tell you what, Bobby, I think we're about out of time for today.
Well, I do want to tease it a little bit. So
please do.
Next week, we're going to be talking about old Zucky Baby's metaverse. And what that is, first of all, in case there's people wondering, like, what the fuck does that mean? I want to spend some time breaking that down. Scott and I have some homework. We're going to find a creative way to talk about it and explain it. I did take my first step into the metaverse today. As Scotty liked my little avatar guy. I was ADDing out on Facebook, and it's like, do you want to make your avatar? And I was actually looking for like how to send someone birthday money, but I ended up on the avatar world, and I was like, yeah, I'll make my avatar. I don't have an avatar. And they're like, you don't have an avatar. So I make my little avatar, give them my little goatee. They don't have one with like the missing negative Hitler. So it wasn't very, accurate, but I took what they gave me. I threw glasses on, on the guy, but yeah, I did make my little avatar, and then I started thinking about it. Is this going to be my avatar for the metaverse, like my normal, like chat avatar? I don't know. That's pretty creative. So next week we will dig in more to avatars, virtual space, the metaverse, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, the new virtual frontier race into virtual space, and we'll have a good time with that.
I want to mention something about your avatar too. I noticed it's a great avatar, nice liking, and I do like that you gave yourself a little bit of a belly. I thought that was.
Nice. I picked like the second biggest one they had. I was like, we gotta make this to scale. This fucker, yeah.
That's good. I was like, yeah, that's a nice little avatar. Bob too. It's got a little tummy on there. That's pretty dope.
I like to stay grounded in who I am.
Exactly. There's no delusion with this guy here. He knows exactly. But no, it actually it's very cute little avatar. I'm excited to get in there and create one too. And it'll be interesting too if they age with us. That'll be pretty cool.
So I did give him wrinkles and stuff.
Very nice.
They had a bunch of faces. I picked like the wrinkliest one, and then I show my son, and he's just like, "So, that's cool. That's pretty close to you." And he's just like, "Well, what's with the gay pride flag behind you? What's with the gay pride background?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know. They didn't let me pick the background, did they?"
It's just preset on anything you do.
Is that like a subconscious thing that I automatically rainbows? Hi. Here I am in all my glory.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
So I didn't catch that, but I thought it was funny that that's where my son took it as soon as he saw it.
I like what you did there too. You literally just gave me some homework to do like last week about our episode for the metaverse, and now you just like made sure that that's homework for this week. I like what you did there.
Yeah, we just chiseled that shit into stone.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Well, everybody, thanks for taking some time to listen to me and Bob go back and forth a little bit again here. We do appreciate everybody's support. Patreon, YouTube. I'm just gonna start listing stuff: Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. You know, that's where you can find us. Get in there and show us some love.
Perhaps coming soon, Twitch. I don't know. It's getting crazy.
I think that's gonna happen. But
we're just throwing shit around now.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Join us next week, guys. We're cruising up here on another glorious holiday, but we're still going to give you a nice little show next week. So peace, love, and happiness to all you badasses out there.
See ya.